I think I have enough in me to finish this right now. Getting a bit hungry, but... By the way, in case if it wasn't clear, I record these pretty much entirely in one sitting. I record the Shibuya incident in one sitting. Definitely my favorite song out of all the shows I've done so far. And I haven't done much. It's been this, My Hero, and JJK. But out of these, Idol's the best by far.
The sales were laughable enough to make one wet themselves. Everyone involved wants to forget that whole episode.
That says nothing about quality.
I bet you think if you just throw out some compliments, I'll just give in, right? Do you think I'm a fool?
I mean, that's what happened with Aqua. That's why you joined.
No matter how many times you ask.
Okay, tell Aqua to ask her.
I'm sorry for not getting your input first.
I can tell from your singing that you've had it easy in life while coasting on your looks.
That's harsh.
She's not particularly wrong.
I wrangled someone to offer you support, so really work with him, okay, girls?
Someone who will offer support?
It's Pion again, isn't it?
Perhaps be Aqua. Hello!
Yep.
God, it's you!
Oh, long time no see!
Where in the world do they get all that energy from?
Lack of depression.
Actually, I don't like them either.
A kindred spirit.
They're so overpowering. They make the whole dish taste like bell peppers.
Who is this voice actor?
Bell pepper exercise days?
And you hate chrysanthemum greens.
Oh, I can't stand them. They're just as bitter as bell peppers, and they're so
This-
horrible.
This just feels like a stalker.
Enjoying this chat.
I was under the impression that he was a lot buffer, but seeing him in person, he actually seems kind of slim. In fact, he looks the same stature as Aqua.
He's about to shred out of
I would never stop laughing if my brother ever did that silly duck voice.
Oh. That's why he's not in his Speedo.
He's nothing like that loser Aqua, am I?
Who wears a shirt that says baking soda on it? What are the shirts in this show?
He's constantly been floating in my mind ever since then. Growing up, I thought he was an angel, but now he's grown up to be such an evil human being. I wish he'd stop spoiling my sweet memories.
Why did she think he was so good back then?
Time for a lesson!
Tomorrow's finally the big day.
Yeah.
So, how are the girls looking to you?
Was that actually Aqua's voice actor doing all that?
Just go to bed. You should never underestimate the importance of sleep.
Do they all live here?
Nothing like that.
Ducko said that? I better sleep. But I'm not sleepy at all.
Copyright?
I'm way too excited. What should I do?
That's probably a copyright censorship.
Having never experienced any thrills or excitement or
The first time in a long time we've seen her original life.
Yeah, my first love.
That's so bittersweet.
He told me that if I ever became an idol, he would be my fan.
It's weird. They're
Ever
like
since then,
12 and 40.
I've always dreamed of being an idol. I bet he's still an idol otaku, though. As an
Oh,
idol,
right. Yeah, she still
I'll
doesn't
make it
know.
big.
How nice that you have someone in your life who will be there to support you. I don't have anyone like that in mind.
They're in that room with you.
He's a child actor.
Shit.
Aeon's mask.
Is she not gonna show up?
Finally made it! The Japan Idol Festival!
Where is she?
Let's see. So you heard it from someone who heard it from someone who heard it from someone? Well, B. Komachi's choreography is all pretty
Okay, at
demanding,
least
so
she's
he can't
there.
be going on without quality sleep.
Lead Bikamachi? That's pretty arrogant for someone who's not even popular.
You weren't even the
Still,
one
I
who
have no
asked
choice
for
but
it.
to. I wouldn't think twice if I were going on that stage alone. I've failed time and time again over the years. But this time, you two will be there with me. I don't want you to fail. I don't want you to know what it feels like to be a failure. It's because I'm not alone that I'm scared.
I would say Kana's probably the one I relate to most in this entire show. I feel like the show suffers a little bit from lack of clear focus. Because throughout this one relatively short season, we've had Aqua's revenge storyline, Aqua as an actor storyline, Akane snapping, Ruby's idol storyline and the people connected to her, and not one of them feels like the main plot. I feel like having so little focus on the revenge storyline, I feel like makes it pretty clear that not a lot happens throughout that storyline, because that means they're stretching it out as long as they can. The problem is that that was kind of the hook of the show. A fair amount of the first episode was good, but a lot of it was about which means that a lot of it doesn't feel entirely relevant to the other parts of the narrative, when Aqua's revenge was like the big climax of the episode. That's how it concludes. But then Ruby's storyline, which feels like it should be secondary, honestly feels more important in terms of how it's written. A lot of the character work in the show is quite good, but I think the pacing and the overarching narrative is a little odd. And maybe season 2 will fix that, I'm not sure. I really hope season 2 isn't opening this good. You get a different glow stick depending on which one.
White?
You chose
Ah.
white?
It suits you since you're not an idol otaku in the first place.
I feel like Ruby's mannerisms really remind me of I. That's definitely intentional, I feel. Okay, so their singing got better. The animation is really good for this type of show.
My mom and my manager both ditched me. Even my fans only see the remnants of the old me.
It's not healthy,
Hearing
but I
that,
want Aqua
I'd
to
try
look at her
much harder still.
right now.
Somebody.
Tell me it's okay for me to be here. He looks like an idiot. How can he keep a straight face while doing that? He's waving glow sticks for all 3 of us. I'm gonna dye all your glow sticks white. I'm gonna make you love me. I'm gonna be your fave, your star.
My only concern is that she might become codependent with Aqua. If he's the only reason she can have energy, that's not a good thing. God damn, how are bugs getting in here? Though, I guess she was more angry at him because he was waving for all 3 instead of just her. So that might be a good sign, actually.
Hey, Aqua. Are things going well with Akane from Love Now?
I haven't seen her since then. Besides, it's just a work relationship. But we have talked about going out to take photos for social media.
It's just work.
Wow, Akane is all smiles all of a sudden.
Depressed about it, okay?
Took you that long, huh? You could just ask him a single question, girl.
Who am I supposed to root for here?
Ah, that's what she's struggling with, got it.
What would make you do something like that?
Oh. So this you talked to him about, okay.
Back then, you didn't want to talk to me, right?
That's
Girl.
the only reason?
Okay, she's a little bit dumb.
Then you even went and put on that creepy voice? That's some imitation skills. Who would have thought you had that talent?
Yeah, was that
Impressive.
actually Aqua doing that voice? His same voice actor?
Speak to me.
There you go with that sister complex again.
I feel like I should have made a
Quite
drinking game for every time they said
excuses. Well,
SysCon.
if that's the story you're sticking to,
What?
So, yeah,
What are you talking
or whatever.
about? I'm not running from anything.
you did something super weird because you wanted to talk to me.
And he ended up with a twisted personality.
Oh my.
When he's with Connor,
Yeah.
he's almost like his old self again.
Huh.
Akane.
Plus, the stage is amazing. We'll rotate it 360 degrees, make heavy use of CG, and bring the atmosphere of the manga to life. I've got a good
Is stuff like that real? Because that's insane. Okay, I imagine that's going to be pretty much all of season 2 then.
I don't know exactly who the guy was, but I do remember how she suddenly had the face of a
If it
grown
was
woman.
love, what happened to
If
them?
you're interested, I'll introduce you
Why
to
would
the
they
leader
have
of La La Land.
split up in
I
such a way that
suspect
they never
you've come
talked
closer
again?
to the answers you're
Or
looking for there.
talked so little that it was weird for her to call him.
Of course I'll take the part.
That role should be cast pretty soon.
That's
I
going
wonder
to be
who's going
Kana,
to get
isn't
the
it?
part.
That would be me.
Yep.
Kana.
That's too obvious.
You know, you really need to stop posting in real time. You'll get malicious fans who will show up wherever you are, and you might even become a victim of stalking. It's standard
Yeah.
practice to use scheduled posts for any outdoor photos.
I'm surprised Aqua didn't think of that.
I was convinced that you'd given up on this acting lifestyle.
Um,
Idol now, right?
I hear you got popular by selling your private life, right? Good for you, Akane.
Kana?
why is everyone in this show so damaged?
Careful.
I guess that's kind of the main theme of the show, isn't it?
For the love of God. So many of these actors.
I refuse to lose. I refuse to lose. I refuse to lose. I refuse to lose.
Really
I
hate to
refuse
lose.
I refuse to lose. I refuse to lose.
Maybe Aqua didn't turn out all that bad. Wonder how much of season 2 it'll take up. I imagine it'll probably be all of it serving as the setup for it, and then the finale or last couple episodes are the actual performance.
I will.
You will? Okay. Oh. I guess this is this a... No, this might just be a version 2 ending. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think that's how it was before. I think it's usually started playing during the episode. I'm curious if any of the other episodes had that little beginning part. Maybe not, actually. The lyrics of this are really interesting. Apparently, some of these episodes have captions, so I turned those on a while back, and the lyrics there were interesting. Oshi no Ko Season 1. I do think this show coasts along a bit on the initial shock of Episode 1. I think the characters are very grounded and real feeling, though that can be a bit frustrating. I think the amount of girls that are into Aqua is kind of annoying. Like I said, it kind of feels like a harem show at times. Just one that's very well written in comparison to others. But like I've pointed out, the focus of the story is not great. Kind of feels like it just is bouncing around between a lot of different perspectives and is not managing them very well. But it seems like everything's going to converge onto one thing in season 2, and I think that's part of my problem. Akane and Aqua were part of one project. Aqua and Kana were part of a different project. Kana and Ruby are part of a project, and all these relationships only get to shine during the time that they're given in those projects. Whereas with what they're doing now, all of them are going to be working on one project. I imagine Ruby will have some role in it. Memcho probably not, honestly. I feel like they can disregard her, frankly. She's a very minor character, and unless they give her significant development, she's complete fodder as a character in the story, essentially. Not fodder in the traditional sense, but yeah. It was interesting, and the art direction is some of the best I think I've ever seen. The animation is not the absolute best. I think it's very good, but it's not the best I've seen. But the direction is impeccable. Like I talked about constantly, I loved the eyes in the show. They had so much detail and expression in them. And the use of the star, both through Aqua and him going dark and bright and neutral and that kind of thing, but also with Akane getting it in her eyes when she adopted Ice Persona, was a really nice touch. I feel like Ruby is pretty underdeveloped so far, so I hope we get more of her in season 2, but I don't know. She came across as almost deluded about the job of idols. And I feel like that makes sense given her character, but they didn't really go into that as much as I would have expected. Kana and Akane were more of main characters than she was, frankly. It's an interesting show. I think a lot of the popularity just came from how shocking the first episode's conclusion was, but I strongly doubt season 2 is going to get nearly as much hype as this one did, but hopefully the music is as good. Idol is a fantastic song and super interesting and complex. The amount of genres that play in it is kind of insane. Yeah, so far, pretty good. Probably kind of a low A, high B range right now.